So continuing on from the last video, we're going to look at worked example 4. It's important to remember that you can actually see this worked example in your textbook that we're currently using, the PDF. So Clive borrowed $12,000, just to refresh. Clive borrowed $12,000 to buy a lathe for his factory. He agreed to pay interest at a rate of 15% per annum and to repay the loan in full in 3 years. So calculate the amount to be repaid. If the interest, we're going to do 3 ways. All right, we're going to do it the way we did it before, annually. All right, then we're going to compound the interest every half year, and then we're going to compound the interest quarterly. Okay, so let's do the annual one first. The first thing I always do is write the compound interest formula. Now this example is going to be similar to the ones we've done in the past. So identify what needs to be found and what you know. Alright, so if we go back up to the example, let's see what we know from this formula. A, we don't know in this one. Okay. P with the principal is $12,000, so we get that straight out of the formula, straight out of the example up here. R is the rate, which is 15%. N is the number of periods per year, okay, in this case, right, number of periods per year. So in this case, because we're doing it annually, there's only 1 period per year, and T is the number of years. In this case, it's 3 years, okay? So that's what we know and what we don't know. So we've identified what needs to be found, which is A. We've identified the values of the other variables right there, and the last thing to do is simply to substitute the amount into the actual formula. So we'll do 12,000, 1 plus the rate, which is 15/1, all close the brackets, and 1 times 3. Alright, just let me get my calculator. Okay, so here I am with my calculator. I'll just type in the formula. So I've started to type in the formula. The one thing that people struggle to do sometimes is put powers to. So this is the button here that does powers to. So we put the power, and we can even type in 1 times 3. We don't actually have to even do that calculation by ourselves. You hit enter. Oh, I've got the syntax. We don't need the comma in there. And there we are. So that is the amount. What have I done wrong there? What I've done wrong, it's a common mistake. I'll continue this because it's something that's easy to make a mistake. Of course, the rate has to be in decimal form, so 0.15. So I'll do that again. Remember, always to check your answers for reasonableness. So that looks like a much more reasonable amount rather than 4,900,000 and something thousand. 18,000 seems like a much more reasonable amount. So we'll go back here, 18,250. So the amount is equal to 18,250 point, what was it, 0.5. Alright, so now we should write a statement just to say that we know what we're actually solving and we're not just getting letters and numbers all mixed up. So the amount to be repaid after 3 years is $18,250.50. Sometimes it'll specify rounding to the nearest dollar and things like that. In this case it doesn't, so we give the full amount. Of course, you wouldn't give any more than the cent because that would be unreasonable for an answer. In the next video, we'll look at the next example.